Obviously, didn't play as well. Came out flat for whatever reason and didn't play well. So those guys got the win today. Hats off to the Seattle Seahawks and what they were able to do. And we got to play better next week.
Yeah, Coach, what you all have been able to slow people or shut people down in the second half. What happened today?
Turnover for a touchdown, a big play by Metcalf at the end of the half, a penalty or two penalties to keep drives alive on third down. That's what I remember right now off the top of my head, Led.
And did you all think the numbers suggest y'all might be able to attack them through the air? Were you all able to do that and get that accomplished today?
No, we did not get it accomplished. Clearly, not to nearly the success you need in order to win games in this league, and we were not able to do that today. We didn't play well as a unit across the board, special teams, offense or defense, and we got to go to the lab and put it together and find a way to find a good to get a win next week.
You mentioned the timely penalties, 9 penalties on the day. How do you fix that? How do you correct that?
We've been pretty good most of the year. We've been a pretty disciplined team. We've been doing the right things. So today was kind of an anomaly. And we got to go back and fix those things, look at it on tape, correct what we got to get corrected, and I got a lot of confidence in the guys that we can do that.
I know you said you can't really put your finger on why you came out flat, but how surprising was it to you that was the case?
It's not you can't really put a finger on it right now. You got to go back and look at it and what you got to get done and how you want to do it. But we did not come out with the energy that was required to win a football game today, and we need to be better. You'd like to come out and get that stop. I don't know whether it was the penalties that kept their drives going. Right off the back, I think it was 3 penalties in that first drive, and those are the things that kind of suck the air out of you. We can't allow those things to happen.
Is being able to sustain, you've had three good wins, you're probably feeling pretty good about yourself. Is the ability to sustain that type of thing and not come out flat the fourth time, is that part of building something and taking another step?
There is no doubt. There is hard to win a game in the National Football League, let alone 3. So to be able to go out there, the energy that it requires to go out and win 4 is definitely something that good teams do, and we got to figure out how to do it.
Hey, Raheem, Horace Shivers here.
Hey.
Bijan Robinson had a great game tonight. How do you feel about how he's moving forward, how he's progressing throughout the season?
I think everybody know what I'm going to say about the stats. They're for losers, and we lost today. But, Bijan came out and was able to run the football well. He was able to catch the ball out the backfield pretty well. But you got to put it all together as a team. And I will never glorify individual stats over team wins. That's just not my makeup.
Yeah, Coach, could you do you have any concerns about the pass rush?
Yes, we got to hit the quarterback at a timely fashion. We got to get him on the ground when we send people. Can't let them scramble around, do some of those things, and we got to go back and find ways to fix them. We did hit the quarterback, I think, once today. Had an opportunity to get a throwaway in the pocket. We got an illegal hit low. We got to fix some of those things, see what we can do when we go out there. We're looking at it on tape.
And a decision of Michael Penix get his NFL debut today.
All of those guys, at that point, the game was out of hand. It was gone. So we were able to sub all those guys and get them out. Made the mistake and put Bijan in one play and got him out of there and made sure we can substitute as many people as we could at that moment.
And how can you fix the false starts? You had one series where there were 3 and the one possession that kind of killed the possession.
Yeah, that's what we talked about. Those are all the same thing we talked about with the penalties. You got to go back and look at them and see why they happened. And they hadn't been happening all year. We had a small little segment there. We had a couple penalties that we didn't like. We were able to fix those things. But, penalties all based on concentration, and we got to go fix those things from a concentration level.
Raheem, all 3 phases, have contributed to wins at different times individually. Is that what stings the most about today, that they were all collectively not contributing at all?
You always look for somebody to pick you up in this team effort game, and it didn't happen today. It felt like when we got something going on offense, big play by those guys, knock us on defense. We get a stop on defense, we go right back out, turn the ball over, and give them a walk-off touchdown. So, we got to put all those things together. We got to be able to go out there and find ways to win together, and we did not able to do this today. Tough day.
All right, I'll get started and then can take any questions you have. Tough day at the office, certainly. Pro football has a way of testing you like that. And Now you have to kind of, when we talk about having resolve, having grit, responding, getting back to work tomorrow, and being candid about how each one of us has to do certain things better. I got to play better, and just kind of working at how do we play better, how do we improve, and then put together a good week of practice, and then try to play your best football you can play next Sunday. But tough day, and felt like we were there, we were hanging around. We had 4 possessions in the first half, and first one had the penalties that kind of set us backwards, and then the second one, had that throw to Ray. I felt, if we could hit that, maybe he scores. So then didn't get any points from that drive, which that play missed op, loomed large. And then the third drive scored, and then the fourth drive, the 2-minute drive, we weren't able to, sustain that drive. And so much of offensive success is being able to, sustain and not have that penalty or have that play or that negative play that sets you back and it's hard to overcome. And today we, did things at times, but weren't able to sustain, play in and play out enough to score enough points to win.
Kurt, how was things, in the pocket today? Y'all have been pristine for a couple games there. It looked like they had some rushes on y'all.
Yeah, they had a good rush plan. It's hard to answer quite well yet because my eyes are kind of downfield, but
Right.
At times they were getting home, but at times, we're in a drop back game where you're kind of inviting, that pass rush as well. So, when you get behind, that's sometimes what happens. And so it's important that, we start fast enough to where we can kind of stay in our mold and not have to turn it into that kind of 2-minute mode as the game went on.
And how do y'all fix the false starts 7 games into the season? That's a procedural thing that you usually don't see this late in the season.
Yeah, it's kind of unique, I think, to this week. Some of them is just, trying to make a check, trying to get out of a play with a blitz, and so sometimes it's just, unfortunate. And but we'll have to be on the screws about that this week and be better up ahead.
On the corner over here, Raheem mentioned that all 3 phases, defense, special teams, and offense, came out flat. Did you sense that or try to get a jump start to the offense?
Well, I think we didn't go down and score on the first possession. Would love to have started faster. Did have the penalties that hurt that specific drive. Converted a first down, converted and moved the football on the second drive as well. But then just missed that play to Ray that I felt loomed large. When you had an opportunity there to get behind the defense and we weren't able to connect, that was one that I wanted back.
Kirk, Majan said that the good teams are able to put these type of games behind them. How do you do that and not forget what caused this type of game to happen?
Well, it's both, right? I mean, you definitely go in tomorrow and we have to, be hard on ourselves, coach one another hard, be candid about what we each can do better, and you have to kind of start with yourself and raise your hand and say, hey, I got to do this better. So that's a part of what good teams do, but then certainly you have to move forward as well, and that's what Wednesday is all about. And there's a phrase they use in the league that you can't let your previous opponent beat you twice, and I think that's kind of what he's trying to say is that at some point you do turn the page and you move forward, and many times a performance that you don't like, can galvanize you and sharpen your edge a little bit, and that's certainly what you want a performance like this to do.
So as a veteran on this team, is that something that you would tell guys as a group or individually, or is that something you would not tell at this point or say?
No, I think it's everything. I think I think whether it's meetings, whether it's your own conversations, whether it's out in the practice field, I just think that everybody understands that you have to go back to work, you have to improve, you got to fix things that weren't good enough, and you got to understand that win or lose, each game is its own entity, and the next Sunday's coming, and you have another fresh start there, and try to stack a much better performance.
Kirk, to your right, because you've won so many different games in different ways, special teams, defense, or the offense, is it easier then just to throw this one away, look at it maybe an aberration, a fluke, because all 3 phases weren't in sync?
Well, I think it's an opportunity to learn from it. So I don't know about throw it away. I think, as Bijan was saying, at some point you do throw it away and move forward, but not until you've talked about, hey, I need to be better here. Why didn't this work better? Where were we deficient? Where can we be better? So you ask those questions. You're candid about it. You take the coaching. You tell the truth to one another, and then you certainly have to move forward. And that rebound, if you will, is really true in pro football after a tough loss, but also after a win. You have to be able to learn from a game and then move forward regardless.
Kirk, you mentioned the penalties being a big one in this one, and then you focused in on the Ray miss. But what else, top of your head right now, was really frustrating about this one in particular?
Turnovers always loom large, so certainly the sack fumble was a tough play. I just felt like that was my fault. I felt like on a third down I was probably trying a little too hard to try to convert and not turn it into a 4th and long or having to punt. And at some point, you probably just need to throw it away or maybe get backside to Bijan there as a check down. And if it's not a first down, it's not a first down. So you kind of learn your lesson there in a hard way. So those 2 plays loom large for me. And I think that's kind of the ones that stick out right now.
Kirk, Raphael Haynes with the 3-point conversion. You've been in the league, you're a vet, and so you've been in situations like this where you've won a couple of games, you have a winning streak, then you have a fluke game like this or a game like this. With a younger team that hasn't dealt with that or don't have any experience as far as that, do you sense that you should become more vocal at this time for your team?
Well, I think I should really be the same person. You got to be yourself, and in my case, as a quarterback, I do think it is probably being relatively vocal. But you don't change who you are. I think players can see fake from a mile away. You got to be authentic. But who I've been, ought to be who I'll be, and just have good communication. Have productive meetings tomorrow, and we all just have to, learn from what took place and how to improve. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Kirk. Yep. Thank you.